Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make an infinitely stackable compact piston setup in Scrap Mechanic. So normally you'd make something like this, where you just continue to stack pistons all the way up to whatever height you plan, but this is not efficient. This takes up a lot of space and it just doesn't look good. The design I'm going to teach you is more compact and it cuts the total height you need by about half. So without further ado, let's get right onto the building process. So to start off, I'm going to start with a simple base just so we can more easily get this going. That should be enough. And the first thing I'm going to do is start with the starting block, which will be this one right here, and I'm going to place a bearing right there and an arm. Think to start with 4. Now let's do the first setup, which is a piston and a wedge. It is important that you use the wedge as in the game, unless you use mods. This is the best block to use. The next step, let's just go off to the side. You can do this anywhere, but just make sure you have a block to detach so it's a free floating object. And you're going to do, hold on, this. You're going to do this right here, this arrangement. Go ahead and just drop it. And so we're going to have to attach this to a column right here, but we can't normally do that. As you can see, if I try to weld, it won't let me. If I try and weld from the other side so it goes on the correct position, it doesn't let me since the pistons are colliding with the wedges. So we're going to have to do some trickery, and for that we're going to get a controller. There we go. And we're going to connect to that bearing. Make sure to rotate it to that side if you're following this tutorial, and set it to 90 degrees. There we go. Now that way you can weld this on, so let's do that. Make sure to be in this orientation right here, and then the next thing you have to do is just place it on the lift and weld these two. And right now you already have a double piston. Now before, you can actually play with this. Remember, these two blocks are attached, so you need to remove this one, and it's best if you do it whilst on the lift, since the physics of this game can break at this point if you detach them while they're running, and your game might crash. So just to prevent that, make sure to disconnect them on the lift. So now let's just connect a switch, and as you can see, it already works. You can set it to whatever height you want, whatever speed. It's going to hit my roof, but that is no issue. The thing is, I said that this is infinitely stackable, and I did not lie, so let's make it taller. As you can see, I already increased the block height here. It's always one block bigger than what you're doing. And we're going to do the same, just wedge, piston, and wedge. Detach, let it fall, come here and weld on the lift, weld again, and detach. And as you can see, we have a 3 piston setup. Oh god. Just make it a bit smaller so it's easier to handle. You can actually change them, you have to be finicky by just going in there. Make them a bit shorter. As you can see, 3 piston setup working wonders. And again, just so we all are aware of the process again, increase by a block, make the arrangement wedge, piston, and wedge, disconnect, drop, weld, back on the lift, weld, disconnect, and you are done. Now we have a 4 piston setup, and this, as I said, is infinitely stackable. You can go as high as you want. Just remember that at some point the game might break from too many physics, but you should be fine. That has been it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.